Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video after a while. This time, I will be covering the first part of Cultivation Levels in the Shrouding the Heavens Donghua. Let's explore the world of Yifan and hope this will help you all to understand when you watch this amazing Donghua. The Wheel and Sea Realm was established by Heavenly Emperor Huang to allow a new cultivation system for future immortal kings to be born in the Broken Heaven world, the Shrouding the Heavens world. The Wheel and Sea Realm, containing life and death where the sea is death and the wheel is life, uses the self as the seed to birth Dao. Sea of Bitterness, Wheel of Life, Divine Bridge, Paramita, these four great realms were all perfectly explained within the Dao scriptures we'll see volume. Cultivators can refine a tool per realm with their divine patterns of the Wheel and Sea Realm. Top cultivators would pursue a complex and profound singular, great tool, throughout the Wheel and Sea Realm for the higher and stronger cultivation foundation, such as Great Emperor. 1. Sea of Bitterness. Cultivators first had to establish their Sea of Bitterness, gradually expanding it. Only then could they sense their Wheel of Life, because the two of them were so inextricably connected. Then an endless life chi would curl above the Sea of Bitterness, overflowing throughout the body to nourish the flesh, bones, and organs. It would increase the power of the body to surpass ordinary mortals. This was the first realm discussed within the Wheel Sea volume, the Sea of Bitterness. The goal of cultivation is to cleanse the Sea of Bitterness as much as possible. The Sea of Bitterness is endless, but if cultivators wish to obtain a long life, they absolutely cannot get stranded within their Sea of Bitterness. Give birth to a thriving life energy within the dull Sea of Bitterness, cultivate divine meridians, sacrifice them so they become the heavenly bridge, cross to the end of the Sea of Bitterness, and arrive at Paramita. Minuscule divine patterns are condensed and usable at this stage once the Sea of Bitterness grows large enough. Minimally, divine patterns can now be used to refine a tool for external use. 2. Spring of Life. At this stage cultivators gain an energy source for the use of mystical arts and divine abilities, allowing them to possess an immeasurable might. Lifespan of 200 years. The only way to change this was to establish a channel through the Sea of Bitterness to its very bottom, connecting to the Wheel of Life, allowing an ocean's worth of life chi to flourish and prevent the Sea of Bitterness's erosion. Only then could one's longevity change. This quantitative change would then cause a qualitative change. Vigorous life chi would turbulently surge, and in the end condense to become liquid, forming the divine spring of life and forcing itself into the Sea of Bitterness. A small opening of the spring of life would form upon the dull Sea of Bitterness, a connection to the Wheel of Life. The divine spring would be allowed to bubble forth, and that was the second realm of the Wheel and Sea volume, the Spring of Life. Only in such a way could a cultivator obtain an energy source, and only then could they fully use all kinds of mystical arts and divine abilities, allowing them to possess an immeasurable might. This was the most crucial part of a cultivator's evolution. As long as the divine energy spring was endless, one's power would be infinite. In reality, the so-called divine rainbows that cultivators rode on were actually just the divine light flowing from their spring of life. After reaching the Spring of Life realm, one could use divine rainbows to fly across the sky and countless other amazing mystical arts, with greater duration the higher the cultivation. 3. Divine Bridge. Body transforms, the spirit sublimates. Spirit and body unite and break through their restraints and transcended the self, eventually finding one's true root. The Tao scriptures mystical arts possessed a dominating, pressing forward, manner. Although the Sea of Bitterness was endless, there was no need to turn back. What was needed was to use all of one's power to break through its confines. In order to reach their goals, cultivators needed their body to transform. They had to form a divine meridian within the Sea of Bitterness to aid in breaking through their body's limits, in order to reach the other end of the Sea of Bitterness. This was a long and arduous process. The further one pushed past these restrictions, the stronger one would become. In the end, by rising above the Wheel and Sea, and forming heaven and earth's divine meridian, one could release their endless potential, allowing one to reach the third realm of the Wheel and Sea volume, the Divine Bridge. 4. Paramita. Flesh, organs, and bones all turn dull, and one would be reborn in a new way. One would shed their body 9 times, becoming a completely new existence like a butterfly being born from a cocoon. During this course of events following Divine Bridge Realm, not only did the body need to transform, but the spirit also had to sublimate. Only once spirit and body united and broke through their restraints and transcended the self together could one find one's true root. Using the divine bridge as a rainbow, to cross over the powerful sea of bitterness and reach the fourth realm of the wheel sea volume, Paramita. Upon reaching Paramita, one's flesh, organs, and bones would all turn dull, and one would be reborn in a new way. One would shed their body 9 times, becoming a completely new existence like a butterfly being born from a cocoon. A total of 9 transmutations to shed the body and exchange the bones alongside the flow of life and death. The top Paramita cultivators also would work hard to completely refine their tool. 5. Dao Palace Realm. The Dao Palace Realm was after the Wheel and Sea Secret Realm. Only by crossing the sea of bitterness and reaching the other side Paramita could one slowly sense this realm. It was said that the Dao Palace had 5 gods. Cultivating this secret realm would bring about mysterious and inconceivable events. The Dao Palace realm contains 5 stages, with the order choice dependent on the cultivation method used by the cultivator. 1. Heart's Divine Depository. One of the stages of the Dao Palace realm. In this stage a cultivator cultivates and strengthens his own heart. This is the first refining of the 5 gods or 5 main internal organs. The heart symbolizes fire, which is one of the 5 elements. 2. Lungs Divine Depository. The lungs divine depository is one of the stages of the Dao Palace realm. It cultivates the lungs of a cultivator, which is one of the 5 gods or 5 main internal organs. The lungs divine depository connects to the divine Tao of spiritual energy. It covers the internal organs and the position is highest, which is known as the canopy. The lung symbolizes metal, which is one of the 5 elements. 3. Liver's Divine Depository. One of the stages of the Dao Palace realm. This stage focuses on cultivating and refining the liver, which is one of the 5 gods or 5 main internal organs. The liver symbolizes wood, which is one of the 5 elements. 4. Spleen's Divine Depository. One of the stages of the Dao Palace realm. This stage focuses on cultivating and refining the spleen, which is one of the 5 gods or 5 main internal organs. The spleen symbolizes earth, which is one of the 5 elements. 5. Kidney's Divine Depository. One of the stages of the Dao Palace realm. This stage focuses on cultivating and refining the kidney, which is also one of the 5 gods or 5 main internal organs. The kidney symbolizes water, which is one of the 5 elements. 6. 4-Pole Realm. To enter this realm, one needs to sense the heaven and earth energies. This realm basically cultivates the 4 limbs as the 4 poles touching the void of great Tao. This realm is divided into 4 realms cultivating the respective 4 limbs in each realm. Cultivators can develop spatial/void abilities at this realm. To improve and cultivate all the 4 limbs, one needs to dual cultivate one's physique and Tao, law power. This realm has 4 heavenly realms which symbolizes 4 limbs. 7. Dragon Transformation Realm. This realm has 9 sub-levels called transformations. Cultivate the spinal cord and vertebrae from bottom up to reach the immortal platform within the head. Each transformation requires the cultivator to experience a heavenly punishment. Represents the true dragon of the spine, back, of the human body exploring one's potential to establish the immortal platform of the head. Established by Heavenly Emperor Huang for his personal supreme improvement, years after he unintentionally awakened the sea of bitterness to survive a life-death calamity. He referred to the true dragon treasure technique of the 10 evils from the perfect world universe. The dragon transformation realm secretly hides the lost true dragon treasure technique in the Shrouding the Heavens world. Therefore, non-human or dragon bloodline inheritors seek to complete the dragon transformation realm to attain a possible sliver of this quasi-immortal art. A true dragon is nurtured within the body from the lumbar to cervical spine, manifesting once the great accomplishment realm, 9th change/heavenly layer, is reached. At the small accomplishment realm, first change/heavenly layer, a dragon transformation cultivator attains a lifespan of 1,000 years. The human body 9 changes and become a dragon in one leap to see immortals. The so-called dragon transformation refers to the cultivation of the spine. This is a hidden humanoid great dragon, and the next secret is to revive it from its 9 changes and harmonize with the Tao, attained through the four-pole realm. To enter and ascend each layer of the dragon transformation realm, the cultivator must experience the dragon transformation heavenly punishment, Tao enlightenment, and have a scripture dragon transformation volume. 8. Immortal Platform Realm. Immortal Platform is the ultimate known cultivation realm of the human body. Very different from the previous 4 great realms, and it can be said to have an essential difference. It is divided into 6 celestial layers, and each level is separated by the same distance as that between a previous great realm, from the realm of the wheel and the sea to the palace of Tao. But unlike the previous realms, the immortal platform is divided by stages: the initial stage, the intermediate stage, and the peak or advanced stage. Immortal platform has 6 steps, called heavens. Each heaven is as good as a single realm of 9 sub-level realms in itself. Depending on the step of immortal platform you are on, there are different titles. By the end of this realm, a cultivator has established their great Tao and their unique cultivation method foundation. First heaven/half-step supreme being. At this stage, the cultivator further tempers their powerful divine sense, like sharpening a blade. Only after advancing to the second layer would they be able to unlock other treasures within their body and unleash limitless combat abilities. Lifespan of 2,000 years. The supreme elders of sacred lands, ancient dynasties, and families, the best, at the peak stage are called half-step supreme being/half-step almighty. Second heaven/supreme being, also called as almighty, can be called a holy lord/celestial lord/sect master level. Lifespan of 3,000 years. Third heaven/supreme king, also called the Tao severing realm. One undergoes Tao severing, establishing one's foundational Tao while severing and fighting alongside one's self-forged enlightenment weapon. Can clearly understand own Tao, and the divine sense can cover a planet. At the peak stage are called half-saints. Lifespan of 4,000 years. Fourth heaven/saint, also called as sage. Life level is sublimated, entering the law domains, capable of destroying planets, and the sacred bodies can specialize in the wheel and sea realm. There is a holy barrier between the king and the saint. Those not forbidden divine, or half-saints, cannot hurt those beyond this level. Lifespan of 6,000 years. Fifth heaven/saint king, also called as sage king/ancient king. Law domains are more profound, and the sacred bodies can specialize in the four-pole realm. Lifespan of 7,000 years. Sixth heaven/great saint, also called as great sage. Saint Tao law domains limit. Each small level is equivalent to an entire dragon transformation realm. The sacred bodies can specialize in the Dao Palace realm. Lifespan of 8,000 years. By this cultivation point, the immortal platform cultivator must have created their own cultivation method and perceived the great Tao. A quasi-emperor near the end of one's lifespan will decline to this heaven's overall ability. In the damaged universe of Shrouding the Heavens, great saints are known to be the highest active entity on the battle power hierarchy. These are all the cultivation levels I wanted to cover in this first part video. Here the founder of this cultivation level is Heavenly Emperor Huang, who is also known as Shihao from Perfect World. Please subscribe and keep an eye out for the upcoming videos. Thanks for your support.